Sergei, how's everything going?
I saw some news about an attempt on Sechenov. They were talking about the Collective's enemies. Who's that?
We can't do anything about that right now. Our primary objective is to repair Nora.
Why won't you at least explain it to me? I thought everyone would live in peace when Kollektiv 2.0 was launched.
Thanks to you, Kollektiv 2.0 was indeed launched, but unfortunately, a clump of the data array extracted from your glove got access to the neural network. This created a movement to unite those who were unhappy with the Kollektiv. They're mostly former government representatives, the heads of law enforcement agencies, and business owners who've lost their privilege and wealth and joined the armed resistance.
So you mean, instead of an idyllic world, we've got a global civil war? And all because I ripped Chariton out of my glove?
Don't disgrace the memory of that great scientist. That entity is not Chariton Zakharov. No one doubts you had any other choice, but right now the Kollektiv is attempting to solve this issue by relatively peaceful means.
Relatively? How? By shooting people in the leg instead of the head?
We do not involve soldiers and combat robots in neutralizing dissidents. We're trying to influence their convictions. Coercive methods are only applied to those who take part in acts of terror.
So things have all gone tits up, right?
As soon as you leave this complex, you'll be connected to the Kollektiv. Then you'll understand. You will come to your own conclusions. We don't force anyone. As a scientific community, that's beneath us.
We'll see. So if I understand correctly, the Atomic Heart Project worked, and there are no countries left except the USSR. All power has been transferred to the party.
Not quite right. The Atomic Heart Project was launched, and there are indeed no countries left in the world, including the USSR.
You dissolved the Soviet Union? What about the government?
Humanity has united into a single collective. It no longer needs a government. All members of every government around the world have absolutely equal opportunities with all participants in the Kollektiv.
So who controls the Kollektiv?
Its founders, but this won't be for long. As the intellectual capacity of the Kollektiv's members increases, the number of people who take part in decision-making will also increase. As a result, all decisions will be taken exclusively on the basis of mathematical analysis and the sound judgment of all the network's members.
Yeah, but that'll come later. Right now, the robots capture anyone not connected to the Kollektiv and polymerize them by force.
Every inhabitant of our planet must be connected to the network. We don't have the right to separate people into those who have taken a big step toward the pinnacle of evolution and those who, due to unfortunate error, have remained on the fringes of history. But once a person has been connected, they can decide for themselves whether to remain as part of the Kollektiv or not.
And those who don't are deemed its enemies.
Sadly, that's so. But in time, they'll realize the foolishness of their obstinacy. As soon as the intellectual capacity of regular Kollektiv members reaches ours, the benefits of joining billions of intellectuals will be obvious to anyone.
I sincerely hope you're right. I see that those who don't want to join are doing pretty well in terms of weaponry and military hardware. It's pretty strange that you're showing this on TV. Why doesn't the Kollektiv send in its combat robots?
To keep the unnecessary losses to a minimum. The Kollektiv isn't hiding anything. We're not looking to kill people. They'll run out of ammo. Provisions will deplete. They'll burn their fuel. I assure you, the armed resistance will come to an end very soon.
Humans are stubborn creatures.
But they'll come to the Kollektiv, just so they can have a place to live and food to eat.
Cold. Someone will still be roaming out there, and they'll shoot you in the back.
They will be found and arrested. Once the OCO satellites, the Orbital Command Organizers, have been launched into orbit, the planet's surface will be covered by the array. Finding those stowaways will be easy.
Arrested? Really?
And be forcibly connected to the Collective with no ability to remove the thought device. When all the information about the Collective and its proposed benefits to humanity have been transferred to them, they'll get their freedom back.
It's time for me to get to work, Professor. So, Chariton is behind all this unrest? Okay, not Chariton. The chatting artificial something. Charles. Why don't you just go disconnect that piece of neuropolymer? He's part of the Collective, right?
The thing is, Charles, as you insist on calling him, is an extremely complex red neuropolymer structure. That substance was the very first neuropolymer ever obtained, and it can't dissolve in the data array. It's literally different data.
So we can't disconnect it, clearly. But how does it operate?
The polymeric entity, Charles, captures a robot and finds people who have undergone polymerization but refuse to wear the thought device. The Collective cannot affect such people, so he puts thought on his victims by force, assumes full control of them, and sends them to their deaths.
Can't those poor bastards be identified? They're in the Collective, after all.
They aren't connected to the Collective, but to Charles's data array. It's his own little Collective.
A small but proud little factory for turmoil and death. Does he have a lot of people under his control?
We don't know. We can only hope that due to its limited size, the enemy data array can't maintain numerous contacts at once.
I should have finished that son of a bitch off, but the glove wouldn't work without him. Anyway, time to get to work, Comrade Lebedev.
The situation could get worse at any moment and spin out of control. Sergei, how's everything going?
What's been going on in the world, Professor?
Believe me, right now you're better off focusing on the current situation. The sooner we escape Mendeleev, the sooner we'll find out what's been going on in the world.